Pie and Ball Champions League Special, Inter Milan vs Atletico de Madrid edition. Let's go! After our 3-week hiatus, we thought it was only right to come back with a bang. And what provides more bang than some knockout Champions League football at the San Siro? After arriving at the ground, we went straight off for some scran, and we were spoilt for choice, with rows and rows of vans selling merchandise and refreshments lined up outside. In the end, we opted for a breaded chicken panini, pairing that up with an ice cool pint of Moretti for an insane combined price of €16. Thankfully, the taste made up for the cost, as it was absolutely delightful and filled a good hole before the match. After scoffing down what was effectively my dinner, we moved on to the organised chaos that was the queue, washing down the panini with my pint under the shadow of the stadium. Once inside, we traversed through the maze that is the San Siro's concourse, finally making it to my seat, which was absolutely superbly placed for viewing the game. As expected, Inter's faithful were out in full force. The San Siro stands were literally littered with Inter flags and the infamous Curva Nord Ultras, whose name literally translates in English to the North Corner. Shortly after, it was time for the squad announcements. Atleti's being hounded by boos from the San Siro crowd. Inter's, on the other hand, were emphatically cheered, with players' surnames being belted out around the ground. This was followed by a dazzling light show, with fans in all corners of the ground lighting their flashlights to make a spectacular view. As the players made their way out for kickoff, there was time for one last rendition of Inter's anthem, before the moment you've all been waiting for since the start of this video. Goosebumps every single time. The almost 4,000 Atleti fans behind us weren't content to get us started without their own light show, which nicely transitioned us finally into kickoff. Inter had almost all of the early chances, with Marcus Thuram forcing a save out of Jan Oblak early on. But after a typical Atleti defensive masterclass, the score remained at 0-0 going into half-time. After our brief wait, the game was back underway in Milano. But finally, after 79 minutes of pressing and pressing, Marko Arnautovic found the breakthrough for Inter, sending the San Siro crowd into absolute meltdown. They went so crazy, in fact, that this absolute unit from the row in front of us almost completely bowled me over after the goal. Incredible passion, incredible moment, incredible celebrations. Moments like these and the absolute carnage that was the second leg of this fixture further prove that if you don't like football, you must be out of your goddamn mind. After a chaotic finish in Milan, the final score was left at Inter 1, Atleti 0, setting up what was one of the best Champions League knockout second legs I've ever seen in Madrid. Man of the match for this game has to be Marko Arnautovic, the Austrian breaking the deadlock and scoring the decisive goal on the day. As for ratings, the match itself was pretty poor, the crowd were absolutely fantastic, it's the San Siro, so 10 for the ground obviously, and the scran was pretty decent too. Overall, 8 out of 10 for this one. Want to see a Pie and Ball episode about your team? Don't forget to tag them in the comments down below. See you next week, lads.